Welcome back to It Takes a Village. Hey, Dave. How are you?
Jen.
Yeah, it's been a long summer, but now that you're here, we're go, aren't we?
Well, I'm so honored. You told me you're taking a break, and now we're starting up again, and that you would ask little old me.
Little old you, only my bestie. And look what you wore, your fireworks and beauty and art and everything today.
Thank you.
That's right.
I love that. You know, in countryside, I get a chance to welcome on Sundays, occasional Sundays. And now I feel obligated to wear loud shirts, or at least creative shirts. The other day,
Such an obligation for you. I'm sure it's so hard. How do you pull that off, Dave?
I don't know. I lose sleep over it at night. But this is one of my favorite shirts. And then I thought, oh, good. I'm glad I wore it for you.
I know, right?
So
It's
thank
so
you
much
for
fun.
this. This is an honor.
Oh, what a privilege. Dave Wingert, I'm joined by my beautiful friend, Dave Wingert, who is our extraordinaire in the house. Amazing radio voice, amazing human being.
Thank you.
Full of love and light and lots of color. So tell us, what do you do? What's your day job?
My day job. I guess I tell people half kiddingly I'm a sparkling morning radio personality. No, legendary goes in there somewhere.
Legendarily sparkly morning radio personality.
Yeah. My mother had this fun story. She said, when you were 2, I held you up and I said, light, and you said, light, and you never shut up after that. And I said, oh, thanks.
That's right.
Thanks, Mom.
You always need the light to be on you. Well, that's my first question. I'm so curious. I know our listeners are. Did you wake up at 2 years old and see those lights and know I was made for the light? I want to be on radio. I want to be on TV.
It's interesting. I was just inducted into the Nebraska Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was amazing.
Well, what was so amazing about it, there were so many different levels to it, but I had to look back. They invited us to produce a 7-minute video. I think I sent it to you,
yes.
About my career. So yeah, you sit and here are piles of reviews, playbills. Theater was a big part of my life. Pictures, stories, and, a 58-year career in 7 minutes. And we did it. But what was so therapeutic about it is I never thought about fill in the blank. How did it all start? And, it came to me vividly that I remember in 2nd grade, so this is Centennial Grade School.
Wow.
Mrs. Porter's class, and I couldn't remember who I met, an hour ago. But Mrs. Porter invited us to do a recitation of some kind. So we went down the hall to the room where they showed movies, and they had a tripod screen. And I stood under the screen and recited an Ogden Nash poem, Custard the Dragon.
Wow. And you've memorized it for us today.
No.
I love it.
Well, it's Custard the Dragon had 6 sharp teeth with spikes on the top of them and scales underneath.
Woo!
Da 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 da. It rhymed. And the class laughed. And I remember, and I've heard this with so many performers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The moment.
Ooh, I like that. Being able to
inspire and bring community. I mean,
that was the beginning.
That's how number one, something is sparking within you that you maybe haven't felt in the same way. And so you can't let it go because it won't let you go. Right? So then after 2nd grade, continuation of, did you study this? I mean, how was the continuation of your career built? Well,
my good, conscientious Jewish mother, Ruth, in New York,
Ruth.
Took me around I knew I was going to minor in theater, but I had no idea what I was going to major in.
Okay.
And you talk about divine inspiration.
Ooh.
This story is overflowing with it. We went around to the different schools, American U in Washington. There's a musical school. Here, there, and everywhere.
Yes.
And we ended up at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, which is the school is the town.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I like it here. And the guy who was in charge of showing you around, possible, was a really handsome man.
Nice.
And this was before I even knew what team I played on. And I went, oh, I like this man here. So when we got home, my mother said, you'll write a thank you letter. And I did. Okay. And he wrote back and said, I'm pleased to tell you that you've been accepted to. Okay. So, well, what was killer was when I got there and I signed up for theater classes, it had one of the first schools of communication in the country that was separate from the journalism school.
Oh, wow.
And they had a radio station shut up in the basement of the theater.
Oh, wow.
So when I'm taking theater classes or being measured for costumes, right, I'm padding down the hall and I literally put my big Jewish nose up against the window and thought, playing records and talking. I know how to do that.
Wow.
So I made an audition tape for the morning show and I got it.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
And you want to hear the kicker, because it's a really good story. My mother came for a visit.
Okay.
And I said, I found my career. I'm really good at it and I love it. It's radio broadcasting. And she went, oh, that's what your father did. And I went, who are you talking about? Because the father who raised me, Abe Wingert, was a dry cleaner who died when I was 13 in cancer. I said, that was my real WTF moment.
Wow.
And I said, what? And she went, I've been meaning to tell you.
Oh my gosh.
So here we are walking down Main Street. She says, I met this
20 years old or something.
Yeah, 20, exactly.
Wow.
I met this man, Aaron Levine, in the war. We passionately fell in love. She's telling me about the lovemaking and stuff.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. And in front of the bookstore, I'll never forget it. And he worked in Radio 1010 Winds in New York, which is still a big station. Give us 10 minutes, we'll give you the world. But he was a manic depressive. And the treatment for that in the 40s was electroshock
therapy,
which he got and changed his personality. He became a recluse and went to work at the post office with my Uncle Mike. And I'm going, and let's get to the back page, Mom, the final page.
Yeah.
And, well, she tells me, as we're standing there on the sidewalk, your father came to the hospital the day you were born, went home and killed himself.
Oh gosh, I remember you telling me a piece of that story. And the trauma there is that there's beauty in the full nature of understanding holistic life and where we come from. But it always, like, trauma begets trauma. Of course, sort of some of the experiences that we go through, right, from familial bloodline, as well as the epigenetics, right, of our relationships, continue to kind of follow you until you know, and you have the opportunity to engage in that. What a difficult time for you, though.
So well said. Well, it explains so much.
Of course.
Right, it explains so much. She said, I didn't touch you for the first 2 years. Oh, that explains a lot.
Yes.
And she resented me because she had just lost the man she was passionately in love with. I mean, she was going through a lot of pain.
Oh my gosh, Dave. Of course she was. And then sort of the association, right, of life and death, love and loss on the two sides of the same coin.
Right.
Right there. And then here you are, this amazing, colorful, bright, funny, smart, all these things. And so, of course, she loved you to death. But the whole death piece of that was how does she continue to show and nurture that?
Well, what's interesting, Jen, is I didn't understand half of this until she was dead. And I put the pieces back together again.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I get it. I mean, I wish you were here now so we could have a conversation.
No, Ruth. And she
was an alcoholic. I thought that every mother would come down when she can't drink, come down to the bar and fix herself a vodka like this. And I thought that's what you do when you can't sleep, right? And now that I'm in a 12-step program, it's like, oh, this all makes so much sense.
Well, you know what I think is so beautiful about how you are such an open book. You are such an amazing storyteller.
Thank you.
Have such an ability to express like raw human emotion. Like your story touches on so many, right? So what you do every single day, you're a storyteller, but you are building community. Just whoever's listening to you right now, engaging in this conversation, you have this deep ability to say and not look away from hard things, but to invite learning from those hard things and really look at how love can be extracted from even the worst of experiences.
Oh my God, yes. And I never thought of that. I knew I was storytelling on the radio.
Yeah.
I never thought of it as a community of people. And I do love the expression, it takes a village, right? That we need people.
Oh.
Well, and this morning I had Leah Georges on, who is one of our congregants here.
Yes.
And because
Shout out, Leah.
It was Respect Day. It just turned out.
Mm.
It was talking about meeting people where they're at, and which I find is fascinating because I don't do anything to appeal to anybody. I'm just me. And radio took me through so many program directors saying, you can't say that. You can't do that. You shouldn't say that. You say this instead.
Mm.
And so you kind of wishy-washy. And finally you finally say, F it, I'm just going to be me.
Right.
And that's when it becomes most effective.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's when you have people, I know we've talked before, you've had people reach out from all over the place, writing you letters and notes. And I think the beauty of being able to be so open and honest, for me, it's that spirit is coming out. Mm-hmm. The spirit of love, the spirit of unity, the spirit of, beauty. When you're so honest to that, your spirit is able to reach another human being who also needs permission to be fully true to who they are.
Well, thank you. I think that's absolutely true. And you're so good. You're so good. That today in particular, so many things going on in the world, but particularly there's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of isolation. People isolate.
Right.
There's a lot of teenage depression and suicide. So I think, not that I'm not planning to be a role model or anything, but I think the more open you are about, and also when you take something and hold it under the light, the power disappears, right? The power of it. So if I can inspire anybody to, because I did plan my suicide about 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
All this stuff was happening. Thank God I didn't go through that. My friends helped me.
That's right.
And I would have missed all this. This has become the best chapter of my entire life.
Oh, well, and you are bringing the best of love and story and humanity in this chapter of your life.
Humanity, great word. Thank you.
Gosh, humanity first, human first. Talk about Respect Day, right? How to be honest to yourself is just one step towards being honest to the human condition, right? We're all trapped in the skin we wear. Why not say it's beautiful and lovely and amazing? And we talk in faith communities about being made in Imago Dei, the image of God. And so, right,
what is that expression?
Imago Dei.
Imago Dei.
Yes, in the image of God, right, which come from Scripture. We are all reflected, and because we talk about in this community of faith that the Godhead, by many names, right, is not a pronoun, is not a mother, a father, or this or that, but the God who is love, right? And as a queer person, a lesbian, right, an out, open person who lives authentically, we know how meaningful and how important it is to say that everyone, right, if you just live true to yourself, that light can, even as a 2-year-old, overtake some of the things that the world is trying to promise us, which are lies and hate.
Oh my God. Well, I think a lot of it is, don't you think, there's still a lot of fear.
A lot of fear.
I hear in meetings so often, if people knew who I really was, they'd hate me. And here is this amazing, funny, loving, you can just tell, you can feel it, human being. I said, really? That's how. But the point I was going to make a second ago was getting into, everything happened so much the way it was supposed to in my last 20 years since I've been back from Seattle. But since I've been in this 12-step program, I can look in the mirror, finally, because before I saw my mother, and I don't know what I saw. And I didn't care for that person, whoever it was. And now I absolutely love who I see.
Yeah.
And when you feel that way about yourself, then you can do this sort of thing.
Talk openly and share your story. Well, Dave, so many people are living with the same kind of experience that you just talked about. So many young people, so many people in the country, right? The anxious generation, right? Josh, the book, that actually Leah and so many of our parents are studying right now. It points to this isolation, right? The generation who is so anxious and lost. And what kind of wisdom, right, can you share for these young people or for those who are kind of looking in the mirror and not really seeing that Imago Dei, that they are fully loved?
That may be the $5 million question, because I don't know if you could tell them anything, because they have to feel it physiologically. They have to experience it. But I guess the cliche is wait, it gets better. But it's like, yeah. You're my mother. You would have to tell me that. Or what is it? What is it?
Well, who's your village? And part of it is isolation begets more isolation and those messages. I'm sure you said you had some friends in there. It takes a village is kind of part of that.
Well, just this morning, my co-host on the morning show, Chuck, who's just a stalwart, regular Joe, salt of the earth kind of guy, said, when Leah left, he said, boy, you have a lot of friends. You know a lot of people. That's the way he put it. And I said, well, don't you? He said, I don't have friends. And I said, maybe that could be an agenda for you to go out and be open to finding a friend. Because God, we need that.
Oh, gosh. I mean, friendship, I think it's one of those things. There was a quote recently that I read. It said sort of like, what if friends were the love of your life? Right? Instead of course, like whoever our partners that we love forever. But so many friendships kind of get put on the side, or people don't put as much into their friendships, thinking that, okay, here's the love story, get married or whatever, do your family. But then friendship sometimes is sort of sabotaged by the values maybe that this our wider community kind of upholds.
I think we could talk for an hour just on that, because I think back, when I was in college, I remember walking at night singing show tunes, of course, from Funny Girl, Who Are You Now That You're Mine? And it's like, where is my love? Where is the love of my life? And I was not meant to, for whatever reason. I guess I wasn't open for it. I wasn't ready for it. And I don't know if I even am now. I mean, I met someone, I'd come through the Depression, and Jim Keck down at First Plymouth said, why don't you come and talk about that? That would help a lot of people. And at that service, I met John, who was destined to be my first and last husband.
Yeah.
I saw he was going out the door. It's one of the long, shaggy dog story. He was going out the door, and I just happened to look over, and there he was, and he looked at me, and I looked at him. It's like that scene in West Side Story where everybody disappears, right?
And
angels sing.
Exactly.
And he comes back in and stands over here, and I'm talking to someone like
all you could really see is him on the side of your
what the heck is going on here? And so he was a bipolar meth addict, and I was addicted to opioids at the time. We had a lot in common. Not self-hate, but bad self-image, depression, addiction. So we were meant to be together. And the best thing to come out of that was finding my way to 12 steps.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And what was my point? Oh. So it was a relationship that didn't have much love or warmth or caring or holding or kissing or anything. I said, John, this isn't a marriage. I'm too old for this shit. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I know you've heard worse.
You've grown up. We're grown-ups.
Yeah. You have to leave. And we're still best of friends now, but it was a great chapter. Back to, so I haven't missed out. I get my love from you, from Dan.
Yes, right. From the village that you've chosen. Right. So many people talk about friends and then family and then chosen family. Right. So
I love that expression.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
And it rings true when you think about, kind of just thinking about your mother and the story and go to college, that all the people who are in our lives, we have these choices, right? See them as someone who might imprint to be part of us, or just someone who is a guy who opened the door, who said, hey, we wrote a letter to. I think it's really important for our children and for young people, for those who do see kind of the fear that is sort of enculturated right now in our wider community, in this country in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. How we say, there are people all around you, right, who see you, and they see the real you, and reminding them who the real you is. Like if you're in the 12 step and you're looking at these people, you can see, because of where you are, so much love, and you're reflecting that back to them. That's what we need to be doing for our young people. I mean, it's a crisis, right, around mental health and image.
Yeah.
and AI and media and all the things, right, that are contributing. But it takes a village. And this faith community, we're here at Countryside Community Church in Omaha on the Tri-Faith Initiative. I mean, there's so much love that we can continue to reach for and share, but it really is a chosen family.
This is apropos of nothing that we're talking about, but I remember, okay, help me out. The woman who's in charge of coffee.
Diane Scott?
Diane, who I've known for years. I was just having a brain fart. And we were here in the new church, and for an hour, the topic was sex in the Bible. And I thought, I want to hear her take on this. So in this room, the point is, there were about 15 people from all different kinds of background. And everybody in the room, of course, they all came to play. They came knowing that we were going to discuss it. It's like, well, that's not the way I was brought up. Tell me more about what you believe. And today, when Jimmy Kimmel was fired for saying something against our president, I was thinking, why can't we need to get back to, I don't understand why do you believe that? Why is this so important to you? And do you believe every word in the Bible? Do you believe it was written by God? Do you believe it was written by man? Right. And it's fascinating.
Yes, it's like dialogue. It's honest dialogue. And it's, what it is? It's safety to have the conversations, right? When the safety net sort of feels like it's pulled out from underneath people, they're sort of lose the confidence in being able to ask hard, bold questions that are really just honest, right? What do you think about that? I'm wrestling with this. Someone said this, and I really don't agree with that, but I want to hear your take on it. We just don't have that kind of open dialogue, and we need it. We need to be braver with who we are.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And there's just so much to be found, so much treasure to be found in conversations like that, rather than, all right, I belong to this political. I was raised Jewish Reform, so this is who I am.
Yeah,
and it's like, and I've changed so many times through the years.
Right.
Right. Tell me more about what that is about you and how you were brought up. And I had a friend, Melanie Workoven. She's in Seattle. Her father, Merrill Workoven, was he was the Walter Cronkite of news here in Omaha years and years ago. And we hosted a talk show in Des Moines, and she had the most interesting. She'd say, instead of "he's crazy," she'd say, "Well, isn't that interesting? The way you think. Tell me more."
Yeah, which is so. I mean, that's kind of the brave part of asking for more. I think sort of the fear-based, isolated, tribal thinking, right? It's sort of well, that's crazy. Well, it sort of puts, you put these walls up. But when you say, that's interesting, tell me more, you're inviting this opportunity for your own soul to hear and grow, right? Yeah. We don't want to be growing in this. I mean, we've kind of drawn these lines in the sand, and it's so fear-based. Because think about it, when you're 2 and your mom says, don't put your finger in the socket. I mean, every single 2-year-old looks, some don't do it, but everyone wants to do it. Depends on if your mom is like Ruth or if your mom's like, but we're all curious and we all want to learn and we all have our own thoughts, right? And agency. But either we nurture the courage to show up as we are, right? Because there's one thing to show up with courage and be who you are. There's nothing to be a bully. We're not trying to, right? We don't want bully mentality. We want openness, right? The iron sharpens iron, right? Come with your full self, knowing if it's Dave, I'm going to leave a little changed and open and inspired.
Well, that's good theater too. Exactly. Edward Albee says you should leave the theater a different person than you were when you went in 90 minutes ago. And what I find, Jen, the joy that I find, the deliciousness now at my age, which is 77, where you find most people would go, I am set by the way. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Get off, the old cliches, get off my lawn. It's like, and it's like, I find the joy in finding new ways of thinking about, name it. Whatever. That's
right. Well, okay, you've spent your life in the theater. Your whole life's in theater. I mean, I walk in and see you anywhere I am, and I'm engaging. We're jousting, right?
Yeah.
You bring that. You are honest. You also have had your ups and downs. I mean, you've just spoken about like addiction and suicidal ideations and all the things, right?
Mhm.
Someone would say, you have more reason to say, get off my lawn than anyone because hardship and difficulty.
Oh.
But instead, you have chosen to lean into, like the storyteller in you, the courageous spirit who wants to learn more, not only about the world, but about yourself.
Myself, yeah.
And you spoke about, right, your parents, your father who didn't know. So much of that kind of builds up to making choices about what's your next step. And your next step has been a brave, courageous, like, I want more out of life. So how do we think about, right, in communities like ours, what kind of conversations, what kind of brave questions, right? Either have you heard or do you talk with people on the radio, about belonging, about community, about respect, about self-love? I mean, what kind of questions should we be asking our friends, our neighbors in our faith communities?
Hey, well, that's my job in the morning is to be effervescent and positive, real, authentic. I find authentic, and I play happy music, music that makes you feel good, the 60s and 70s. So I don't know if my radio the radio platform is the right platform for that sort of thing, except that my listener could hear how I talk to a listener who calls in, and hears if I'm respecting them or playing with them, and it depends on my mood, because I have lots of moods. Sometimes I'm sarcastic and they don't get it.
What?
Whoops, not a player. Okay,
no.
Sorry if I offended you.
Yeah.
But I don't like small talk is the answer to what you just say.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? Great. How you? Great.
Good to see you. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. When people ask me when I'm at the door here at church, how you doing? Never better. And they say, really? Actually, yes. That's how. Yeah. Right. It gets better and better. But if you're having some kind of workshop or, I don't know, I have a friend, Debbie Denenberg, who lives right across the street here. She goes to Temple, the Reformed Temple. And it's funny, I was raised Reformed Jewish. So I've been meaning to go to.
I remember we had a conversation about this. And you said, well, Jen, I grew up Jewish. I knew this, your mother, the whole story. But you've never been to Temple. No. Which is it's so funny.
And
I mean, I don't want you to go to Temple.
The peewat out of Debbie. She said, oh, you are too good over there at countryside. When you're surrounded by 4 temples, synagogues, we're not good enough for you. No. And I said,
no, we love Debbie and we're so happy. We're going to take a walk. We're going to meet Debbie at Temple. But I think the beauty of that, just that whole full circle conversation is so many of us are raised with a particular kind of faith, especially in the West, in this country. It can either be a nominal, if you could go to church every Sunday, you could go to church every Wednesday, all the things that I did growing up, evangelical,
Wednesday,
memorize the Bible drill, or, you go the high holy days, right? And so people have different ways, right, of raising their children in faith, communities. But it kind of ties in with this whole conversation we've been having on community building, and it takes a village, right? It could have been your school teacher. It could have been your Sunday school teacher. It could have been your friend. It could have been your theater teacher. Whoever it is that is that person, right, who inspires you to look deeper, to see that the person in the mirror is this deeply beautiful, spiritual, loving human being that has so much to offer the world. That really is what faith building is about, what community building is about. So we on the Tri-Faith Commons have this lovely opportunity to show up either at AMI at the mosque for Friday prayers, Shabbat services, and then of course coming to church at Countryside.
And that's the reason I joined. John and I, when we were the year we were married, we went around to different churches. Must have been 15, 16 churches.
Wow. Yeah.
No, that's not it. Right. Not it. Actually, I was looking for something like First Plymouth in Lincoln.
Yes.
I've gone with my friend the Lauermans. And I said, well, Countryside is a sister church. So we came here, and Eric was the minister. He said, yes. In fact, walked in and were welcomed. Yes. And felt welcomed.
Right.
And now, as I sit in our magnificent, synagogue, sanctuary. It's like, this is where I belong.
That's right. And that's the essence of why we even continue to show up for each other, is that we know what it means to belong and to find true belonging, right? And we know that so many people are in need of a place, a community, really to belong in their own skin. And that, I think that's really upon all of us to continue to be that honest presence, right? To bring light, because you can just be you yourself. I mean, in our scriptures, we reflect on the fact that we ourselves are the temple of God, right? Which I think is a beautiful way of saying that not we are God, but we within us have everything that we need for life, right? We have everything that we need to share with others, right? So when we respect ourselves and find belonging in our own skin, in our own spirit, we can then share that with somebody else. So when you walk down the street wearing this lovely shirt, anywhere you go, right? Yeah. Someone who has a conversation with you will feel better. They'll feel inspired. They will feel this contagious need to find that for themselves.
Well, and taking it a step further, that's why for the first time, I want to grab people and say, are you looking for a spiritual home? Because you've got to hear Jen experience you, not just hear you, see you, experience you, because you're a rock star. And you're not just my idea of the head of a leader, and you're just a beautiful human being who invites more people to come. Because today I know that there's a lot of we say we're open and life affirming, and I know kids would say, "Are you really open?"
Yes, are you really open? And yes, of course, we are more than just open. I think we are open, and we are trying to tell anyone who can hear, who has ears to hear, right? Who needs to hear. They are beloved. They are beautiful. They are amazing. And if they want a community, right, that is safe, where they can express who they are, where they can ask really hard questions. I mean, we at Countryside in the UCC, we say that our faith is over 2,000 years old. Our thinking is not. That means that when the world says, no, you don't belong, we can push back and say, you belong here. You are loved and you belong here.
Well, I was just going to get to that, because Eric had that thing. I thought it was him originally, but we still say you're loved beyond your wildest dreams or imagination.
Yes, yeah.
The way that's expressed is like, yes, that's what I want. Supported from the back, supported from the bottom, all sides. Right. The minister, Kathy Ann Lewis, who was at the Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle, used to say, the universe is conspiring for your own good. And I love that. And I'm glad the 12-step brought me back to my connection with a great higher power, too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you've heard from Dave Wingert. You've heard from so many others here at Countryside in this community that it really does take a village, that we are about building communities of faith, communities of spirituality, a community where you belong, no matter who you are on life's journey. It is my privilege to talk with you. Such a beautiful person, such a gift to all of us. And you are living your best life, my friend, and we are so happy.
Preach.
That's right.
I quote you. You say, amen.
Amen. Amen. It takes a village, friends. We'll see you back here. Please find Dave on Boomer Radio, and in the morning here at Countryside, he will welcome you with open arms, and so will we. We'll see you next time.
Mwah.